is so I'm stuck in traffic because obviously it was a car accident of some sort, and I'm not getting in the carpool lane. I don't know how it is in other places, but in California, they have this thing called the fast lane. Now they didn't got rid of carpool lane, but now if you get in the quote unquote fast track lane, they basically charge you. It goes a certain amount of miles, and they charge you anywhere from $3 to $8, which I think is highway robbery. I thought it was called the freeway. Not anymore. No, but nevertheless, I thought I would talk some boxing because it appears that a lot could be possibly going on. So I'm gonna talk some boxing, talk about a lot of different things, try to get it all out. But I want to start, and I have to say this though. I got to start with Claressa Shields and her fake war against Cameron. Now, to be fair, Cameron was misinformed. Amanda Serrano's and Katie Taylor is technically not the most watched women's boxing event in history. I'm going to say this again. The undercard never gets credit. That's just the bottom line. Because that's basically saying, well, that's just basically saying that, you know, whoever was on Floyd versus Conor McGregor did 4 million pay-per-views. No, Floyd Mayweather, the headliner, gets all the credit. But, you know, for Claressa Shields to basically clout chase and go after Cameron the way she did, it was just a bunch of BS. And once again, Claressa Shields shows how desperate she is for attention. She hates when people are not talking about her. Instead of her just going about it the natural way, just, you know, making herself more open to the media, just, you know, coming on people's outlet. That's how you build up your stature and you build up your clout. But all this stuff, and then the thing she said about Cameron, said that Cameron is against black women and hate, like where would you come with that assessment from? That sounds ridiculous. You know, you got to have some proof or some legitimacy to that. Like, because he put out inaccurate information, which is a simple mistake. She could have just said, hey, I just wanted to inform you how this works and all this stuff. Cameron would have probably said, okay, my bad. One thing about me, when people say, hey, Town, you know, I just wanted to tell you, you know, this happened, that happened. You know, respectfully. Now, if you come to, hey, man, you stupid and all that kind of stuff, and me, myself, one thing I do is if I'm not completely sure, I always tell somebody to feel free to put more accurate information, and they do it. That's it, that's all. But the stuff that Claressa Shield does, how she desperately always wants to build herself up by having this you know, war against men that she's only fighting herself, because nobody is against Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields seems, here's the thing with me, Claressa Shields seems to be more anti-black men than, you know, black men being against her. And it need to get said. That's just basically the common denominator. It just seemed like Claressa Shields is on this feminist, you know, anti-black man thing. And like I keep saying, Claressa Shields' biggest supporters are black men. And Claressa Shields, she gon' just, if she keeps conducting herself the way she's conducted herself, she's gonna find herself not being very likable. Because she's already headed that way. She always feels like she has to insert herself in something, but then, you know, she feels like she has to try to outman a man. And I just wish she would stop doing this. At the end of the day, you keep saying you the GOAT, you the greatest woman of all time. Well, then at the end of the day, assume your position as a woman. Well, the fame will come to her if she just, you know what I'm saying, play her cards right. I don't know who's advising Claressa Shields, but she need to get rid of them. Because to be honest with you, it's going to hurt her more in the long run than help her. She need to be more universal. And then when it's all said and done, she'll sit up there and say that, you know, she don't get the type of publicity that she should get as a fighter because she's, you know, black. And like I said, Claressa Shields is just going at this the whole different type of direction. She in the wrong lane. She's going, you know what I'm saying, backwards. She's in she's on a one-way street and she's going the wrong way. And that's the only way you can sum it up with her, and she just needs to chill with that. You know. You don't have to attack somebody. You don't have to get personal. And you don't have to start these fake beefs. These fake crusades. Because like I said before, ain't nobody against Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields seems to be fighting the battle with herself. She at war with people who ain't at war with her. And that's just the bottom line. And it need to be said. That's just it. Bottom line. Okay, so, all right. So let me move on from that. All right. So Ryan Garcia exhibition match could be in jeopardy as it looks like Golden Boy is set to cancel that fight. And I seen Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia looked pretty out of shape. Looked pretty out of shape. You could just tell. And then he tells a bold-faced lie saying that, you know, he'll fight Devin Haney if they willing to move up and all that kind of stuff. And of course, the fake Ryan Garcia fans was sitting up there talking this stuff about he beat Devin Haney easily. What are you guys talking about? What are you dummies talking about? Obviously, you didn't see the same fight that I saw until Devin Haney got caught. Devin Haney was winning that fight decisively. The rounds he didn't get knocked down in, he was winning. That's why Ryan won a majority decision. The knockdowns. So when I hear people say Ryan Garcia dominated and he beat Devin Haney easily, what are you talking about? What fight was you watching? I bet you in a rematch, Devin will make the adjustments and he'll beat Ryan Garcia easily in a rematch. Easily. But we all know that Ryan Garcia was full of steroids. And let's PD, and let's get something straight. He had 60 times the normal amount of Ostarine in his system. And Ostarine is a performance enhancer. So no, he didn't have a small amount. That's a lie. He tested positive actually for 2 substances, but they came to the conclusion that it wasn't enough in his system. And it was inconclusive. No, the Ostarine, he had more than a normal amount in his system. So that's a lie. And people need, yeah, excuse me, it was a split decision. Sorry, my bad. And people need to get their facts straight. Because I could really go in on these bandwagon Ryan Garcia fans because they only became Ryan Garcia fans because he won. Before this fight happened, they weren't checking for Ryan Garcia. So the so-called Mexicans that started to rally behind Ryan Garcia, they only started to become fans after he won. So that means they weren't real fans to begin with. And they wasn't sure he was going to win this fight. So I don't know what these morons are talking about saying that he had a small amount. And then you got these fake boxing analysis about well, you know, just dismissing the whole fact and talking about, you know, lawsuits and all this kind of stuff. And then not to mention the other stuff Ryan Garcia did and said. That's why you don't pay attention to these dudes. You got people doing 180s who was just hell bent on against what Ryan Garcia did. Now they trying to sing this same tune that Ryan Garcia possibly got. Nobody set Ryan Garcia up. Like somebody was watching every move Ryan Garcia made. Like somebody snuck into his camp and put some Ostarine in his put some Ostarine in like his drink mixes, or you know what, his supplements and all that kind of stuff. Get out of here. That's why all those supplement companies threaten legal action against him for lying. That's just hilarious. Well, you know, that, hey, that's Derrick James. If he don't have no scruples about himself, or no morals about himself, or no integrity, that's on Derrick James. That's on Derrick James. That's on him. That's something he got to live with. All money ain't good money. So if Derrick James continues to train him, then you got to look at Derrick James funny. But black people are going backwards anyway. Black people want to be suppressed. Black people want to be under the thumbs of white supremacy. I said this before. The people that's going to keep white supremacy going is black people. Because they want to accept it. They don't believe that they can function without them, or being under their thumb, or them having dominion over them. So that's them. I don't think like that. I don't think no race or nobody is above me or better than me. That's how I get down. So, you know, if Derrick James continues to train him, then you got to look at him funny. But at the same time, when he was training Errol Spence, everybody was trying to make it look like Errol Spence was this super militant, pro-black, and Derrick James, same thing. You know, all money ain't good money, and I'm not doing anything just for money. I told you I done got offers to do a lot of different stuff, but people then told me, hey, you know, I just got an offer to do something. But I just got an offer to do something. But as usual, they want me to make adjustments. I get offered stuff all the time because people like the way I talk. But to me, they just tell me I need to make some adjustments. I need to talk a little bit different. I need to stop being so quote unquote militant, woke, whatever you want to call it. But nah, I'm good. So for these people that got the 100, 200,000 subscribers, I could have that. I could have that kind of traction, but I'm not compromising myself or my integrity to be fake. Because if I'm fake and I don't believe the stuff that come out my mouth, then I'm of no use to anybody. So that's, you know, is what it is. And I accept it. I accept who I am, and I accept, you know, what my channel was all about. I'm not making no adjustments, and I'm not making no change. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm not selling myself out, and I'm not selling my channel out under no circumstances. So just making that clear. All right, so Turki Al-Sheikh is possibly on the verge of putting together a super card. I thought about a super card that would possibly include Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield, Arthur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol 2, Dubois versus Joseph Parker, Boots versus Ortiz. That would be a hell of a card if they could pull that off. I'm talking about that would be a super card. That's, you know, that's a pay-per-view worthy event. Now, in all likelihood, it would be in Saudi Arabia, which I wish it wouldn't be in Saudi Arabia, because I would love for that fight. If that fight was in the States, I don't even care if it was in Hawaii. And it's kind of pricey to go to Hawaii, but I would go to Hawaii and watch that fight. I would go anywhere I don't care if that fight was in Boise, Idaho. If they put that in the States, I'd go to Boise, Idaho to watch a card like that. I would go to Boise, Idaho in a heartbeat. But it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. But they send me media credentials to come out there. But, I don't have a passport. I don't have a passport. I don't know if Kobe could go out there, but he got a passport. But some things would have to come in place for something like that to happen. So, we would have to see. But who knows? You never know. You never know. You never know. But that card, that's a dope card if they can get that to happen. Now, I want to say this about Shakur Stevenson and Floyd Schofield. I like that fight. Now, you're going to have this Shakur Stevenson antagonist that don't like him. That's just going to make excuse after excuse. Oh, well, Floyd Schofield, he's this, he's that. Listen, he offered to step up to the plate. We all know that Zepeda really didn't want it. And to me, it came across as Oscar De La Hoya kind of like putting his fighters on blast, said it's not the promoters, it's the fighters that don't want to make the fight. So all of a sudden he comes up with this mysterious hand injury. Interesting. Didn't have no hand injury. Didn't say his hand was hurting after the fight. Now, all of a sudden, a few days later, due to the fact that they was anticipating to, match him with Shakur Stevenson, didn't have a good performance. You can make an argument that he lost. All of a sudden, he gets a hand injury because he looked bad in that fight. I don't think he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson, and that's just the bottom line. And, I always hear this talk about, and that's cool if you Mexican and all that stuff, and you want to big up your fighters, you want to big up your guys. Only thing is, it's funny when black people try to big up each other. Not only do we get attacked or and shamed for it, we get shamed for it by, not only non-blacks but black people themselves, because they want to play the go along to get along game. And I just want to say to the people that's on that type of time, basically from Town via Sports and Entertainment, motherfuck every last one of y'all. Yeah, I said it. You hear this, oh, Mexicans are warriors. We this, we that. We don't back down. We fight the best guys available. Yeah. You a warrior if it's somebody that you think you got at least a 70% chance of beating. Then if you do take the chance and the risk and lose the fight, you got an excuse. Oh, he was running. And I've seen people use that excuse for fighters that stood right in front of the dude that were black. Tevin Farmer wasn't running. And he did more than enough to get the W, but we all know that he wasn't going to get the W. Just like Moratella, when he fought him, you can make an argument that he won that fight. But Zepeda, you can make an argument that you saw some vulnerabilities, just like you did with Boots a few weeks ago. It's not a knock on Boots. That happens. Now, like I said, 2 years ago, if you asked me how Boots would do against Virgil Ortiz, I would have told you that Boots is going to whitewash Virgil Ortiz. But Virgil Ortiz has shown some flaws too, where he's got knocked down in fights, where he's got, hurt in fights. So I just think I think it's good. The odds are gonna be a little bit more close than what they would have been 2 years ago. Virgil Ortiz has a puncher's chance, to say the least. I say right now as we speak. Now, 2 years ago, if you had asked me, I would have said I would have said probably 70-30 in favor of Boots. But now I say it's 60-40 or 55-45 in favor of Boots. I still would favor Boots to win that. I still would favor Boots to win that fight. But I wouldn't be surprised if Boots I wouldn't be surprised if Boots gets caught and dropped in that fight or badly hurt in that fight. Boy, these people going crazy, honking at each other. Let's just hope somebody don't have some early morning road rage. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Boots gets caught and hurt in that fight or possibly drop. But I do think Boots will hurt Virgil Ortiz and drop him in that fight. And I think Boots may win a late stoppage. Or he'll win, a unanimous decision or a majority decision. But I do think that Boots will further expose some vulnerabilities in that fight. But after what I saw in Boots' last fight, nah, he can't beat Bud at this time. I saw enough to tell me, and I did the eye test, that I see some things that Bud would exploit. And I think it would end very bad for Jaron Ennis. And that's just my assessment. So there you have it. Now, another possible fight, Arthur Beterbiev, Dimitri Bivol too. It was enough controversy surrounding that fight to where they should do it again. I'm glad that Arthur Beterbiev is willing to do it again. But I think this time around, I think Arthur Beterbiev gets the job done, and I think he stops Bivol. We saw what Bivol could do, and to me, it just wasn't enough. After watching the fight and watching it again, I gave the edge to Arthur Beterbiev. Because Arthur Beterbiev, to me, I think the last 3 rounds, got him the fight. Very competitive fight, good fight, decent fight. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna say decent. It was better than decent. Real good fight. But I thought Arthur Beterbiev did enough because his punches were doing more damage. And Bivol was badly shaken up after that fight. So I think this time Arthur Beterbiev gets it done. And keep in mind, you guys, Arthur Beterbiev was coming off of surgery. If they can get this fight did by February, which Arthur Beterbiev, I think his birthday is in January, he'll be 40 years old by the time this fight rolls around. He'll be 40 years old by the time this fight rolls around, I think, and then he'll have a shorter time in between to sit out, not train for fights. I think Arthur Beterbiev will be in great shape, and I think Arthur Beterbiev stops Bivol in this fight. Because Bivol is not the only way I think Bivol can have things go his way. He's just gonna have to see, can he go toe to toe and try to slug it out with Arthur Beterbiev, which I think is not gonna fare well for him. And I think eventually he'll get caught, and I think that'll be it. But he would have to try to see, could he knock him out? I think Beterbiev will make the adjustments. You'll see a better version of Beterbiev in this fight, and I just think that Beterbiev gets him out of there. That's just basically it. And then basically he awaits the winner of Benavidez, David Morrell, which I'm looking forward to that fight. I gotta favor David Benavidez in that fight, but I do think Morrell is gonna have some moment. Morrell can punch. Morrell can punch. David Benavidez can punch. I think Morrell is going to surprise David Benavidez in that fight. I think that David Benavidez is going to get hurt sometime in that fight, but I do think that he'll make the adjustments and he'll probably win either late stoppage or he'll win a unanimous decision. But I think that this is not going to be a cakewalk for David Benavidez, because David Morrell, he's a dude that improves every fight as each fight goes on, and he doesn't really have the experience that Benavidez has. But I do think that this is going to be a competitive fight. But I got David Benavidez probably winning unanimous decision, or possibly late stoppage. So we'll just have to see. But all right, you guys, appreciate you being here. This your boy Town. I'm out.